and you are, we are citizen Outbreak. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome back. Happy New Year, Matthew.
Happy New Year, Boychik. How we doing?
You know, 2025 went out. I broke my toe. I told you I broke my toe. I'm on recovery. Going into 2026, we're not even a week in, and I've already got into 2 fights.
Eesh.
It's
Broken toe?
with my broken toe, but it didn't shy me away from getting into fights with people. Look, I said year 2026, I'm going to come in, I'm going to be really nice to people. And then January 1st, I said, fuck it. I'm going to be the fucking asshole this year. No means no. And I'm not going to be anybody's pushover, Matthew.
You shouldn't be.
And I'm not going to tolerate any more of this fuckery.
No fuckery taken.
No fuckery. I don't give a shit about these fucktards. And it's going to be my way or the highway. And it's non-negotiable in 2026. Enough is enough. I'm going to be calling out people on this podcast. You know who you are, Kami Mamdami.
I like it.
I'm coming in hot in 2026. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough tippy-toeing. I'm sick of all these retarded people protesting in New York and everywhere about stupid shit. They don't even know what they're protesting about. How was your New Year?
I had a great New Year's. Yeah, I went away. I was in Marrakesh. I had never been there. It was a real trip. It was great.
Did you get bit by a monkey?
No, I didn't see any monkeys.
Oh, no?
But you know what I kept thinking? Because I was in the souk, I was in the Medina. I kept thinking about that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where he's running around and the guy then takes out his knife and he's doing all this, and then he just kind of looks around and he doesn't have time for this shit. He pulls out the gun and you remember that?
I remember that. I've never been to Marrakesh. I hear it's nice.
No, it's great.
It's a place to go see.
It was a real trip, and you made me think just in terms. It was a real trip. You go somewhere, different culture, different things. It was definitely out of my routine. I have some really great friends that are there. And it is, tying it to some of the stuff you were talking about. I mean, like, it's interesting. It's a different culture. And it makes me, I kept thinking about, like, the kids that are here protesting, if that's what you want, they call it. It's just ridiculous because and look, Marrakesh is not what they're talking about here when they're running around the streets, but it's a Muslim country. The people couldn't have been nicer. The culture was amazing. But there's you walk around. There's also it's a different level of living. There's people sleeping on the streets. And it's just kind of like when you see these kids running around here that have no idea what's going on in the world or whatever, and they're acting like they're in with a cause that they've been bullshitted into. Anyway, it was really a cool trip.
Well, it's good to have you back. I'm back now. Not traveling for a little bit.
I like that hat.
So, you like the hat?
Yeah, I always wait to see what hat you're gonna wear.
The hat is from my favorite coffee shop in the world. It's in Palm Beach. It's called, I'm going to give you a shout out.
I've been there with you.
The Chickmunk in Palm Beach. And now if you go there, ask for the Rudy.
Really?
It's my special coffee over there. It's a latte with a little bit of lavender.
Lavender?
Yeah. Oat milk latte with lavender. Now, I don't like oat milk because I feel like oat milk is not healthy. It's actually really bad. It's like drinking a can of Coca-Cola. But with almond milk, it kind of tastes a little bit. Tastes a little weird.
But wait a second. What's the? How does the lavender come? It's
a little bit of syrup. They put a little syrup in it.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's not a thing. Now you know.
Okay, well I gotta come and get the Rudy.
You order a Rudy at the Chickmunk, Palm Beach Chick. Shout out to the Chickmunk people.
Very cool. No, you told me about those guys. I met them. I went and had a coffee there with you.
Yeah, it's great. A lot of people go there. A lot of celebrities go there. A lot of news people go there. A lot of politicians go there
Do
now.
people order the Rudy?
A lot of people order the Rudy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
They
I've been
should put it
trying to
on
get
the
my
menu
diner. I've
as
been
the
trying
Rudy.
to get, huh?
They should put it on the menu as the Rudy.
They haven't?
It's not. No, it's not. You walk up and you order, but there's enough people.
It's off balance sheet.
It's off the menu, but a lot of people know about it.
Because I've been trying to get my diner to put the Mateo on, but he's like, "What are you talking about?" Because I when I get my I get a chicken salad wrap with bacon, but I have them put it in the panini press, and it's very good.
You gotta tell them. Listen.
Well, I have they gave me their merch. I'm walking around. I got the T-shirt, I got the hat, but I want them to put it on the menu.
There you go.
We had them. We were teaching them. A buddy of mine that I go there with. We were teaching them how to do matzo brie last year.
Yeah. Where's this place?
The 3 guys.
Oh, I know. Are there really 3 guys?
I think there were 5.
You see, I knew there was something with the number. Last thing before we get into our topics. Today is the last official day
Of
you could say Happy New Year.
I go the other way on this.
No. Once you get past January 7th, you cannot say Happy New Year anymore.
I say I'm one of those guys. I'll say it if it's the first time I'm seeing. I might say it until April.
Yeah, no. After January 7th, I'm not saying it anymore.
By the way, I don't disagree with you.
And it's like it's like Christmas music. The next day, when you put on the radio, that's it. There's no more Christmas music. It's gone.
You know, New York. You leave. So I left on the 25th on Christmas, and that snowstorm came the day you were already gone, but the Christmas storm came the day late.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. New York on the lead up. And I was actually set like this year. I was telling people I didn't feel like there was actually a Christmas holiday or rather season this year in New York. It felt kind of empty, but there was that snowstorm during December. It's what do you call it? It's nice because you have the decorations, you have kind of a spirit normally in the city. When you get back, Rudy, the day I got back from my trip, I went out the next morning. It was like 7 in the morning. That's when the streets now are all like that cracked white gray.
Yeah,
it was freezing, and now like you see the trees on the sidewalks, and people just get into these shit moods because it's cold, and there's nothing to look forward to anymore except the cold. So this is where New York flips over. But I'll stay, I'll bullshit and say Happy New Year just to kind of get a reaction. Like, what are you talking about? It's February.
Yeah, no. I'm done with the Happy New Year. I'm done being nice. That's it. All right, let's go into these topics. A lot of stuff has been going on the last couple of days. We got Maduro has been captured and arrested by President Donald Trump and the Department of Justice. You got Iran, the protests in Iran. You got Mamdami.
Mamdami.
You got a lot of things going on, Matthew. Let's drop it. Let's go into.
What do you want to hit?
Let's go into Maduro and Venezuela.
Yes.
Maduro. They came in the middle of the night over the weekend. It was like a surgical mission. They turned off the lights in all of Caracas. They went in, they grabbed him in a matter of minutes. They flew him out by a helicopter, put him on a ship, and they got him out of there.
Did you saw all the stuff, like how they did it and everything?
I saw everything, how they did it. It was amazing. And it just tells you that we have an amazing army, amazing military. I don't know if it was a Navy. So the Delta Force. The Delta Force, they're amazing. Kudos to them. Kudos to Trump for doing this. What they don't tell us is what kind of weaponry we actually have. We have the elite of the elite, and I believe, Matthew, that we have stuff out there. In fact, I know we have stuff out there that they will never tell us or show us. And when we do these things, like what we did when we bombed Iran, the uranium, when we did this Maduro thing, I think other countries like China and Russia are put on notice, and they're like, shit, they could do that? And they could do that fast? And not a peep. Same thing with what happened with Iran and the bombing. Same thing with Venezuela. Nobody knew it was coming. Boom. Trump one day is dancing in Mar-a-Lago, celebrating Christmas, New Year's, and the next day he wants peace on earth, and then boom, Maduro goes down. Nobody, not one leak, Matthew, not one leak.
Because when it's something that they want to do, things can be run pretty smoothly.
Well, Trump said it best. We don't want Congress to know, because if Congress knows, there's got a lot of leakers out there. And that's on both sides, not just the Republicans. Not just Democrats. They're both.
I think this is a really interesting moment. If you're, and this has been something kind of long time coming. If you remember in 2020, they brought up Venezuela. They trotted out Michael Bolton, and back then they were focusing on the democracy narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It was COVID. It was a different time, so everything that was going on, they couldn't really push it across the line. So here we are. Biden. Then what happens is 2021 to 24. Biden continues. He isolated Maduro. They put kept the bounty on him, all that stuff, but did nothing to constrain him in terms of his alternatives, Maduro. And what did he do? He started dealing with China. Who made very aggressive inroads into Venezuela, across various, embedding itself across various, industry. I mean, when you're talking about the ports and logistics, the energy infrastructure, power, and, government systems, all the above, they were getting to a level where, continuing on down that path, that's real dependency on China in our backyard.
China was over there, Russia was over there, Iran was over there, Hezbollah was over there.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't.
Cuba was visiting Venezuela.
Look, we've had the Monroe Doctrine. We had, that it's been, we don't let anybody come into our hemisphere.
No, now we have the Trump Doctrine. You know how he just
the Monroe Doctrine, the Monroe, and I think it's look, so it's interesting because you get a lot of people right now, it's interesting on the right. And it was a bold move for Trump to do. As you said, I mean, this could have gone wrong in a lot of different ways. And he's got these midterms coming up. I think this actually is a plus for him politically, in a bunch of ways. But it's certainly not an immediate, when you're sitting there in the Situation Room or thinking through this, there's political, risks here for sure. So it's a bold move. I think, you see these people that are just on the right now, there's just this contingent of people that no matter what, they're anti-foreign action, right? And the reality is not all foreign action is the same. And context matters, because just kind of isolating ourselves and what we did domestically, we made it as difficult as possible to do any kind of business in America in production, right? We put all kinds of costs on our business, and we built up China. We said, and we shipped manufacturing over there. It's like we created China. And, in my opinion, it's like, okay, get rid of all these, if they don't want to get entangled in the game of geopolitics, get rid of all these costs on our business. Let us compete on cost with China that way. But until then, we have no choice, and we can't let them just move into South America and make South America dependent on them. So,
no, absolutely.
So I think it was a good move, and I think this is a positive. I like it, and I think Trump's on a good streak right here.
So Maduro was taken down because he's a narco terrorist, but do you think that Trump might have? You just brought up China and how China was over there. Do you think this was not only a block from China, but also to take the oil
Absolutely.
and the gold and whatever else was over there?
I mean, the narco stuff.
Not to take, but
hopefully to take
control of. Take control of.
It's an infrastructure capture. is really, the way I look at it. It's not just an oil trade, right? Like everybody's just saying, oh, the oil. Look, it's regarded as and cited as the largest oil reserve on the planet. Okay, so the idea of giving China this, embedded footing in all the infrastructure of Venezuela and the visible, highway towards a real leverage over that oil. That's not America first. Absolutely, we have that. We've gotten now leverage over that, and that we're in a position now to move China out. By the way, it's still dicey down there in this. It's not, this isn't an Iraq or a Libya, in my opinion, but still dicey. This is a bold move that was done, but I think the reality is whether the narco stuff can be true and compelling. Same with the democracy. I mean, you see these people, but to me, the real, they were going after this in 2020. They circled back to it because Biden just basically said, yeah, go. Look, if you look to Africa, China, got it. China built up all the roads, all the infrastructure, took over Africa, and we couldn't compete. Now, that's not in our backyard. South America is. And, so it's good that we're out there fighting for market share. And yeah, making a relationship down there that's mutually beneficial with us rather than them being dependent upon China is absolutely in our interests. And this whole wing of the quote unquote right that's just defining any foreign action of any kind as the same thing. I think it's it's just reflexive. It's bullshit. Because this was strong.
So, do you find any validity of these rumors going around that maybe Maduro's going to give up? We're hearing rumors about Dominion and what's the other voting?
Smartmatic. Yeah.
That they're
allegedly
have Venezuela has some involvement, China has some involvement in skewing the voting systems, and we've heard in the early, I think it was 2008, somebody reported
the servers. In 2006, Lou Dobbs.
It was a 2006 Lou Dobbs, and they're able to switch the votes. Do you think Do you think that they're, and we saw in 2020 that, look, I don't care what people say, it was definitely not a kosher election. There's no way that Joe Biden got more votes than Barack Obama. No chance. But do you think that this is something that maybe Maduro knew that he was going to be taken, and that's why he's so smug and he's relaxed? The guy, did you see he went through 4 different clothing changes?
The way that I like that song.
He went through 4.
I like all the different memes with them dancing too.
So first outfit, we saw him in the Nike tracksuit, the all gray. Then he went into a blue tracksuit. Okay. Then
they were like.
No, I don't know. I think they kept changing him. Black.
Or did they give it to him?
Black outfit. And
who makes the black one?
I don't know who does
Jocko?
the black. No, Jocko does the blue one. It's the blue top. So this guy Jocko does the blue top. I sent it to you. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right here.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a different one. Hold on. Here. Jocko Willnick's clothing company goes viral after DEA puts Maduro in their patriotic blue hoodie. The company's phone hasn't stopped ringing since. Origin founder Peter Roberts had some fun with it. Probably a DEA agent slipped this hoodie on him and said, "You're going to feel the fabric of freedom and on American soil."
That's good.
Welcome to America. Unfortunately, the patriotic blue RTX hoodie won't be shipping till spring. So guess what? He got limited that hoodie drop before anybody else could get it.
Limited drop.
Do you think maybe he knew that this was coming and he just said, "Okay, you know what? Take me." Thumbs up.
I think this is, there are certain things.
DEA.
Well, no, I think there are certain things. I think there are certain agendas that are real, and there are certain, I think a large section of all the stuff that floods the algorithms and and what people are going nuts about, the politics. I think a lot of that is just bullshit. But there are certain things that whoever Trump is talking to, that's there. In 2020, this was a go, but they couldn't find, if you remember, like out of nowhere, like literally, they're telling us 1 minute we've got to all get inside, asymptomatic spread, and all this kind of stuff. Next thing you know, they got Milley out there, and they're talking about we need to save democracy down in Venezuela. Like what? Like what are you talking about? He brought Michael Bolton in, and Michael Bolton's making the rounds. So I think, to me, this is and look, the narco stuff can be very valid and it's compelling, but the reality to me is it's just the overarching thing is there's a game going on right now, and it's China, it's us, it's Russia, and it's a tripolar world, and everywhere where an inch can be picked up between us and China, that's the game. I think they saw China doing this. They saw Africa. They've seen China. Everywhere. China's been moving in everywhere they can. Kissinger said it. You don't want to take on two superpowers at once. Trump signaled in 2016 he wanted to work with Putin, and then the whole Russia hoax happened, and Ukraine. This to me is like the real stuff. And did he know it was coming? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he knew. I think he knew that Trump was serious, and that the U.S.
But do you think he made a deal? Not he knew. He knew something was coming, but do you think he made a deal?
I think he's now in. I don't think he's going back to his seat. I think it's a wrap for Maduro, and I think that whatever's planned for him next, he's gone. And I think this is so. Did he make a deal on Smartmatic? If you look at, I don't know. Ultimately, here's the thing with all that, Rudy. There's mountains of proof when it comes to our institutions starting the Russia hoax narrative with foreign operatives and media to make half of our country believe that Trump was a Russian spy. They have FBI, falsifying warrants. They have handwritten notes of the head of the CIA. You have John McCain saying, "Yeah, I did it." There's no shortage of material out there that plus common sense that says this was bad, but they don't focus on it, and you don't see any accountability. With 2020, same. Like anybody that's sitting there for 4 years, they're telling us that our election system is Swiss cheese and it's hacked by, the Russians. And then literally the stroke of midnight on 2020, they're like, anybody that says that there's any vulnerability anywhere in our election system is a far right conspiracy theorist. So, and there's many places you can, Time Magazine wrote like a whole cover article about how or Life magazine did, about how it ran a shadow campaign. So I don't know that it's that they would allow any kind of real further transparency or accountability on any of those things, because if they actually were to, it would cause serious, it could harm. They fear more, people. I mean, they haven't let it happen so far. Will Trump continue to tweet stuff? Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I like what he's been doing with it.
Well, it's interesting because he came out with that video and he talks about it.
Yeah, so look, it is. I hope. I'm just cynical, I guess. I can't imagine them. It would be amazing, but I can't imagine. Imagine any accountability bringing to anybody.
The people of Venezuela. I mean, you have, what's the number? I think 8 million people since 2014?
What? Oh, that have come here?
Yeah, have left. Well, not just have left Venezuela. Have you ever been to Venezuela?
No, I know some Venezuelan girls.
I've been to Venezuela.
Yeah, nice.
A long time ago. I mean, I was very little. I don't really remember. I remember going to the beach. I remember going shopping in a market, and that's about it. But I do have some friends from Venezuela, and a lot of people left Venezuela because of Maduro and the tyrant that he is, and the type of country that it is, dictatorship. Yeah, you're not allowed to do anything. They devaluated their currency. The people live in poverty, and it's a very, very, very wealthy place. If you think about it, they have the largest oil reserve. They have gold. They have silver. They have other rare earths.
By the
And
way,
this guy,
the socialist before him wasn't a good solve either. No matter,
no,
right?
no. So you have all these people that want to get out of socialism, and there was the largest migration out of a country. And then you have these assholes on the streets of America, in New York, in Portland, protesting.
Yeah. Well, in New York
holding
too.
signs demanding that Maduro gets released. You have the mayor, the Democratic Socialist. He could call himself Democratic Socialist. He's not a Democrat. He's a Marxist. Zohran Mamdami. Even he had something to say. I don't agree with this. You know, it's an act of war or whatever.
He let the president
he wasn't
know.
briefed.
No, he said he was briefed.
Buddy.
He said he was briefed. That was the funny thing.
He wasn't briefed. Nobody's briefing him.
Who's briefing this guy?
Nobody's briefing him.
I've had a lot of fun so far with this putt since he got in.
Back to the people that are protesting. You have all these people who are protesting. We know that they're getting paid by Neville Singh guy or whatever. He lives in China. He's the Pakistani guy. He's the other version of George Soros, who allegedly pays these people to go and protest, because these people have no idea what they're protesting. First, they're protesting no kings against Donald Trump. They voted for a socialist in Mamdami, and now they're protesting to have a dictator released. Make up your fucking mind. No. What do you want? Do you want kings or you don't want kings? Do you want a socialist or you don't want a socialist? And let me tell you something.
Lunch.
They want free lunch. That's what they want. They want a free lunch.
That's all.
You want a free lunch? Look at the people in Venezuela. They are celebrating. Why? Because the dictator, the wicked witch is dead. The wicked witch is dead. The witch is dead. Not dead, but he's in prison in the United States, in New York. And they're celebrating. Why? Because now they're seeing an opportunity. They're being freed. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. But if all that oil eventually, and Matthew, you know, a lot of that oil, all those rigs are ours. They stole those from us, from the U.S., from U.S. companies. We're owed a lot of money for that.
Yeah, they kicked it. Well, Chavez nationalized the oil industry there while we were down there.
And what's going to happen is if President Trump gets his plan together and it works out, then those people are going to be, it's going to be like Dubai. They're going to be flowing in cash.
Look,
they have oil, gold.
This was if they can keep it together down there and it doesn't devolve into anything, this is an immediate power up for America. So
huge power up. Not only is it a huge power up, but these people in Venezuela are so happy. And if you've ever been or know anybody that came from a socialist or communist country, my family came from a communist country. My wife came from a communist country. These people who are protesting on the streets, I will pay. Round them up and send them to North Korea. One-way ticket. That's it. Let's see how they like socialism.
Yeah.
Mamdami, get him the fuck out of New York. I hate this guy.
Yeah, he's totally full of shit, by the way.
He's totally full of shit. His whole, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of those kids in high school that got the shit kicked out of them, and they sat there and like, haha, I just became the secretary, and now I'm going to take advantage of. Or the condo association board members who you don't even know who they're the board members, and they think, I'm on the board. I could do whatever I want. No, you can't. You can't do whatever you want. Nobody gives a shit. You're a piece of shit. And then he puts this team together. Take a look at this, Matthew. C. Weaver, who...
That's the one on the floor of her apartment talking about white people?
Yeah, she's in charge of taking away real estate from white people and businesses. Okay, New York. C. Weaver, remember this name. This is her quote. Private property, including and kind of especially home ownership, is a weapon of white supremacy masquerading as wealth building, public policy. Weaver. C. Weaver. Miss Weaver has a $1.3 million house in Tennessee.
Did you see what Eric Adams responded? He's actually, it's pretty funny. Did you see his tweet?
What did he say? I saw briefly.
He said, home ownership is how immigrants, blacks, brown, and working class New Yorkers built stability and generational wealth despite every obstacle. You have to be completely out of your fucking mind to call that quote unquote white supremacy. That level of thinking only comes from extreme privilege and total detachment from reality.
C. Weaver is an American tenant organizer who serves as the director of New York City Mayor's Office to protect tenants since 2026.
And by the way, what was that? Like a Zoom that she was on in her tank top when she read this policy? What was that? It looked like an opium den.
It looks like a crack house.
But
that's
is that like
socialists? That's their whole thing. They're dirty.
She's wearing like brown.
Smell. Yeah, they smell. They really don't even know. All they want is free stuff and to take away stuff from hardworking people. That's what they want. They don't want to work. Kami Mamdami's never worked a day in his life. He's a fake ass rapper.
I like when he flips an accent, like he'll be talking in a speech and then he'll come across a word and he'll like AOC, like flip like a really like
yeah. He flipped because he's a great actor. He's a great actor. That's
total load of shit.
He's a terrible rapper, great actor. He should have stuck to Disney movies.
I think he's a total load of shit.
His mother. And the way he smiles.
He called the press conference to talk about.
Matthew, ask me a question.
What do you think about FIFA?
Oh, yeah. FIFA! I love FIFA. And
I like these ads that he does.
It's not fair. It's Matthew. Let me tell you, it's not fair that the balls are white and black. They should really be yellow. And the fact that they're using their feet, that's not appropriate. They're using their feet to kick the balls. They need to use their heads because the feet are people too.
Did you see what he said about FIFA? There's no game in New York. He wants to demand pricing be like equal for everybody.
No, he wants to get free access for people for the. Guess what?
But there's no game in New York.
You're not in New York.
He's a total full of shit. I like when he said he was briefed.
Briefed. Hold
on, General. Hold on, General. I've got Mayor Mamdami on the other line.
Who is this? Is this who? What? What's a Zohran? Is it a Zohran?
Ridiculous.
You're the mayor of New York?
Yeah, ridiculous.
How are the goats?
Ridiculous, Zohran.
So these people are protesting imperialism, that Donald Trump attacked them. Let me ask you something, Matthew.
Mm.
Do you think these people are going to be or would have been protesting if this was Vladimir Putin?
What, you mean with Venezuela?
They're protesting that we took Venezuela's president, who's an illegitimate president, a dictator, that we took him. They're protesting that we took him, that we arrested him.
By the way, we
did the same thing to Vladimir Putin.
Administration had a $25 million bounty on his head. So I mean, they're just anti anything that happens from Trump.
Did they set aside that $25 million? Does President Trump get that $25 million now?
Did you see he actually said so because when he was announcing it, he said, and there's $25 million. He said, make sure nobody gets that because we deserve it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, listen. He's saving money.
This is an interesting moment because this is a real move.
It's a big move. Other unrest besides the unrest that we're seeing in New York from this Kami Mamdami. Did you want to say something else about Kami Mamdami, or because honestly, if on every episode,
yeah,
I'm gonna have something called the Kami Mamdami moment, where I'm going to bring about something that he says that's either stupid or stupid.
Well, I think,
all he is stupid.
The whole Zohran thing is interesting because it's like, it's one thing to say these far left, and we've had a lot of them, and government everywhere is pretty bad, but it's an interesting thing to be like, our age and having a guy like Zohran, because everything he's proposing is going to harm New York and, all the people that he's that have been conned into following it. That's not a theory. There's countless examples throughout history. Everything he's talking about is going to be harmful. to the people that have entrusted the, or gotten excited about him. So it's interesting because it's like everything he announces is so obviously and immediately, demonstrably bad for anything. So it's an interesting thing. What'll be interesting to see is if he can raise taxes, because he needs Albany for that. The rest of this stuff is, I like that it's pretty funny. One of his central promises was that public transportation would be free. Of course it is, because most people don't even pay. But on his third day in office, they raised the prices. The guy's just a total load of shit.
He's a liar.
Yeah. I mean,
a liar and a con man.
I think he and AOC must hate each other. They must be. It's pretty.
And mark my words, Matthew, he's going to run business out of New York.
Yeah. Look, I think, I was having this conversation with a New Yorker that's not living here right now. And she asked me, New York is a resilient place. I think this guy can't destroy New York. We've been, before Giuliani got to office, there were 35 uninterrupted years of left one-party rule. It got pretty bleak in the 80s. Everything this guy does is gonna be bad for business, bad for safety, bad for quality of life in New York. It's not a theory. It's he doesn't have anywhere to point to say, look, our policies worked. So he doesn't have that because higher taxes, socialism, collectivism, these things don't work. They lead to real authoritarian rule by machine gun because you can't forget it. It runs completely opposed to everything American.
Let's go on to Iran.
What's going on in Iran?
Iran. There's been
that's a good song.
Iran.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't really. So here's the thing: we don't really know what's going on in Iran because unless it's some kind of leak, we see that there's protests going on. We know that something is brewing. We know that the Ayatollah might be on the run to Moscow, allegedly.
Well, we know that it's been posted in places.
And normally when it posts, most likely it's going to happen.
Are you on to the Pentagon Pizza tracker?
I'm on the Pentagon Pizza tracker, and I also sent you that we did send some artillery and a lot of planes went over to that region, over Europe bases, and over there now. Is something being planned? Are we going to do something? I'm not sure. So if people don't know, the last couple days, the Iranian people have been protesting, and normally when there's protests, what's the guard called? They're like
Revolutionary Guard, Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
Normally what they do is they just come out and they roll over you in their trucks and their tanks, and they just shoot you if you're protesting, or they throw you in jail. They have a Ayatollah, another dictator.
Right.
And he's a bad guy. He's 83 years old? 86? Yeah, he's in his mid 80s, and he's a bad guy. And Iran is another place that used to be a beautiful place. They have slopes so you could go skiing down. Not anymore. Beaches, right? They have beaches there. You could go.
Yeah, no. Before they took over,
beautiful place. And then the Ayatollah came over, and he took it over. This is a different Ayatollah, Khomeini. The other one was Khomeini, and this is Khomeini, if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm sorry, but my Persian is not so good. I know how to say Hak to Sarat. You know what Hak to Sarat means? Hak to Sarat.
What's that mean? Persian. I love Persian food.
I love Persian food too. It means I shit on your head.
Shit on your head. What is it?
Hak to Sarat.
Sarat. I like that. I love the like I shit on your head. That's such a great thing to say to somebody.
Great. My friend Ali told me that. I don't know how.
If you say it in English, like I shit on your head.
I shit on your head.
I shit on your head.
If you say it to somebody like Hak to Sarat.
No, I like Hak to Sarat.
Shit on your head.
I shit on your head.
It's great.
Hak to Sarat.
Hak to Sarat. So the people are protesting. I think they've had enough. But in order for them to start protesting, that means somebody is in on the inside, letting them do this, meaning, starting them up, revving them up. The question is,
what was the thing that tipped it off? I was traveling. I don't even, and it really hasn't gotten any coverage.
It hasn't gotten every coverage, and what we don't know. It just started. Now,
I did see that there was something where, because to your point, they usually just roll over. There was something where the Revolutionary Guard or somebody did do something, like I think either killed or beat up somebody, and they went and got him, which is usually, I don't know how often you see real violence against the Revolutionary Guard, but there was one instance I saw in a post where the family of the person that they snatched up actually went and got the guy that did it.
I'm not really sure how it started. All I know is I've been seeing protests. The protests have been growing. I'm not sure how we're getting this information because, Iran is pretty locked up as far as what goes in and what gets out as far as information. It's not like it's not like in Russia where you can sneak, a VPN, or you could, post something somewhere. It's not like that.
They had, when under Obama, and he got a lot of flack for not supporting it, but there was that big kind of unrest there. But I don't know what sparked this, and I haven't seen Trump or anybody really talking about it.
Well, no, Trump said that if any protesters get killed, that he's going to do something about it. And then he's going to come in and do something. So now they saw what they did with them. I said they bombed them. They bombed them out of nowhere. Got the U.S. when we bombed Iran.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the 2 bombers. We just did the thing with Maduro in Venezuela. The Ayatollah is now.
I told you so.
Yeah, I tell you so. The Ayatollah now he's on notice. So he's kind of probably like, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then I heard rumblings yesterday, and I don't know, but something about Syria getting involved in Iran.
Well, Syria is now on our team.
Syria is on our team. So everybody's expecting for Israel to go in and do something with Iran, right?
Well, look,
that's what everybody's expecting.
Well, MBS. By the way, you see the thing with the UAE? I don't know what that's all about with UAE against MBS.
No, what's that?
There was another thing like that. I mean, but to your point, you got MBS. Saudi would like Iran to be out of it. Syria. I mean, you have something where if there's going to be a real shift in the dynamic over there, we're given that the midterms are coming up and things kind of have to have a level of urgency. If you're a country over there or a group over there that really wants to make some of these changes, you got to be saying to yourself, well, we don't know what's going to happen with Trump in these midterms, and so we might have to move fast. Hello?
Just reading something that came through. No, I was reading something that came through. Bombshell video. Elon Musk might have saved the 2024 election from being stolen. Benny Johnson tells the story of how Musk knew that they would win the election, and it appears it was because they identified the overseas systems and machines that were going to perpetrate what we saw in 2020. Now, we know why Trump is raging at Venezuela. Apparently, we weren't crazy. Musk tracked down the IP addresses of the Dominion office in Serbia and rendered their computers useless days before the election. Years prior, in 2020, the chairman of Smartmatic Holding Company, SGO, was Mark Malloch Brown. He resigned in 2020. Guess where his next job was in January of 2021? The president of the Open Society Foundation. Yes, George Soros' foundation. George Soros being the #1 donor to the Democratic and the DNC, his right-hand man was the head of an electronic voting company called Smartmatic, and those Dominion machines may have been running Smartmatic software. According to Emerald Robinson, General Flynn flew out to meet the Venezuelan whistleblowers anyone else thinks that it's odd that the Democrats are worried so relentlessly about Venezuela, were they and the globalists running operations out of there? Interesting. What do you think?
I am only based on my total cynicism about anything being brought to light anywhere. So I think, my opinion, the agenda here was about geopolitical standing. We achieved something right now, barring any kind of slips and unfolding of bad things. There, we've made a real power move. That is an immediate win for us on the global stage. I think, throwing this out there, and this is only based on my, I don't believe that there'll ever be accountability for anybody. I have my opinions about 2020. It's good fodder. Great. Let him focus on this issue. It's also smart internal politics, because they start saying this. Do they want to make this the national story? Because if they have some interesting things to talk about, you saw it by the way that Musk was back with Trump, like right after they got Maduro. He had dinner at Mar-a-Lago. So if they can get people excited about that, great. Look, I'd love to see all kinds of stuff.
Last thing about Iran I want to mention is, you got the people rising up from dictatorship in Iran. You get the people who are happy about what happened in Venezuela, the Venezuelans that are happy, that live in Venezuela, that see what's going on. And then you have these assholes, Nepo babies, paid dirty socialist commies in New York and in the United States, in Portland. Wake up, America. Wake up. We cannot go down this rabbit hole. And the fact that you guys voted in, not you guys, but you know who you are, you voted in Mamdami is the Marxist mayor of New York, who's going to destroy New York. And when they're like, oh, you're not a real New Yorker, you don't know what you're talking about, he's going to destroy New York. No, he's not. Watch, motherfuckers. Watch. Speaking of motherfuckers.
Yeah, who's the next?
Minnesota.
Yeah, Tim
Walz.
Yeah.
Minnesota, okay.
I'm a little disappointed in Trump.
So, Minnesota, everyone knows already, the Somalians, they took over Minnesota. We talked about it. The Somalians have been stealing billions of dollars. We've spoken on the last podcast. But Tim Walz, what a piece of shit. The guy, talk about not taking accountability for your actions. Now, he did he did drop out of the race for governor.
Right. So, I guess Trump's been busy the past few days, but he should have immediately, the second he saw Tim Walz step down, he should nominate him to be our ambassador to Somalia.
100%.
I don't know why he hasn't done that yet.
And Tim Walz has like the biggest TDS, Donald Trump DT, whatever it was.
I mean, look, Tim Walz is like, Tim Walz is a really fascinating guy to me, because if you think about, like, look at who they chose to run in 2024, right? I mean, forget about Kamala. That's a whole discussion. And creation, right? Kamala Harris never got more than single percentage points in when she ran. They just put her in, right? But that's a whole other conversation. Tim Walz, literally, I don't understand the choice of Tim Walz.
Tim Walz is losing his mind, Matthew. Listen to this.
Is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better. And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign? When does he take accountability for what he did? Because it isn't going to happen here in terms of us shying away from making this.
So what is Donald Trump? What accountability does he have with all the money disappearing in Minnesota to all these daycare centers that are non-existent? What is Tim Walz talking about?
Look, I mean, it's the only thing he's got, because they're just trying to shift focus, make this about Trump. You know, like I said, to me, Tim Walz is a really interesting because it's like, who the hell would you got to imagine two things when they were picking the vice president for 2024. You got to imagine there's very high power, influential people sitting around a table talking on Zooms, having conversations. How the hell does Tim Walz end up being the guy that they choose? I don't get it. It's one of those things where I definitely, as cynical as I am, I overestimate the people and I underestimate how much just plain old-fashioned stupidity influences things. The guy should be having one of those propeller hats on his head. Tim Walz, he's that ridiculous.
I mean, he's a joke, but you know what? He's not a joke. Let me tell you why he's not a joke, Matthew. Because for years, the Somalians have been stealing money from American taxpayers. And this whole routine of him being stupid, no. He knew it was
really
going on.
A crazy story, by the way.
He knew it was going on.
Of course. What do you mean they changed the flag of the fucking state?
He changed the flag. I really want to see what's going on, like how much money he allegedly took.
No, but it's really a crazy story. Like they changed the flag of Minnesota to be like. I remember I was, I'll just tell you this one, right after they burnt the place down on his watch, right? Remember, how did we get to know Tim Walz on a national scale? Was when they burnt down the first precinct in downtown Minneapolis and he just hung out. I was on a chairlift in Wyoming, in December 2020. And it was still the COVID time. So people weren't really getting on chairlifts together, but this woman got on one with me and so I said, I was being friendly. I was like, where are you from? She's like, I'm, I split time, Minnesota. I said, oh, nice. And she looked at me, she goes, is it? And I was like, I started laughing. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, what's nice about it? And she told me on the chairlift ride, it's gone. And it's just a really crazy story. And it's crazy that a 23-year-old kid, Nick Shirley, went around knocking on doors. And then CNN's first piece was they all galvanized to try and attack this kid. So it's really strange because it looks damning. So, I think the kid Shirley did great work. I think Tim Walz is a buffoon. And look, somebody should go to the amount of money, and it makes you look. Doge, okay, didn't at the end of the day, it didn't get anything done. It was a fart in the wind. Okay, I don't know what it did or didn't do. It was really exciting, opening month in the administration. They were showing all this stuff, and if you remember, the Democrats were literally they're chaining themselves to doors, But now, fast forward, look at this. I mean, this is insane. It's somebody should go back and be like, look, we need to set up. Of course, it won't happen because our system is so corrupt. But if this is $9 billion in child daycare in Minneapolis, imagine the level that is really going on. And of course,
and forget about Minnesota. What's happening in California? What's happening in New York? What's happening in New Jersey? You see the trend here? You see the trend, Matthew? Blue state.
Look, Rudy, people wouldn't get into politics if there wasn't money. And the reason why our bills are 1,000 pages long is so that there's a lot of loopholes so that the politicians are useful. Being a politician is probably the only real growth industry in America. And so it's a corrupt. But it's amazing because $9 billion just in Minneapolis daycare, even if it's $5 billion, it's you extrapolate that. Look at California. California had a fire eat the size of Manhattan out of its capital city in 2025 with all the technology that we have and the hundreds of billions of dollars that it gets or whatever the hell the number is to fight fires. And that guy is still in power and most likely the Democratic nominee. So it's an insane system because the level of corruption has to and it's crazy.
I don't know. Matthew, honestly, I don't know where our country's going. I don't know.
The Venezuela move was a good move.
And I look at what's happening and I just, what stupidity is running through these people? Seriously. If they don't like America the way it is right now, then when the British they sent all the jail and all the criminals to Australia. Remember that back in the long time ago? That's what we need to do. We need to send all our socialists that you don't like it here, you don't want to be part of it, you want your own thing.
Well, they're just
Let's
stupid.
send them somewhere.
They're just impressionable, and they're rightfully angry because inflation is terrible. But it's like
I get they want affordability, but you can't.
No. The thing is, it's very simple, Rudy. Their complaints about things like, I don't want to spend $100 to take an Uber. I don't want, but one, just complaining about affordability is not a solution. And two, the solutions that are being told to them, there's nowhere in history. And there's plenty of examples of these policies being used. They just make things worse.
Matthew, do you know who the hardest working people in America are? The people that came from the communist socialist countries.
Oh, of course. Look, it's a joke, man. So, like,
and they don't want to see that happen here.
Our youth it's a real problem with our youth. I mean, the one thing that these bad actors have done is they've really done damage to our educational system, attention span, critical thinking. I mean, these things are, the idea that this puts Mamdami, like, it's like laughable how stupid these ideas are. And it's like people are soaking it up.
Horrible. Well, let's wrap it up over here.
Haktu Saret.
We'll be back. What's up?
Haktu Saret.
Haktu Saret. And
shit on your head.
Go get a coffee. Yeah, the Palm Beach.
No. Go get the Rudy.
Go get the Rudy at the Palm Beach's Chickmunk, and also sometimes they're at the Green Market on Saturdays in West Palm Beach.
Also the Rudy.
They have a Rudy there too.
So if I go and I say I want a Rudy, they know what I'm talking about.
They know what you're talking about, Matthew.
Tell them to put it on the thing.
I'm going to tell them they should put it on the menu. And we're going to send them a clip and say, look, we're putting it out there, and people are going to come in and ask for the Rudy.
The Chickmunk. We want the Rudy.
At the Chickmunk. All right.
What avenue is it on?
CitizenOutbreak.com. Tell your friends, share our episodes, like our pages. We're on iTunes podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We look beautiful on YouTube. And we're on Instagram and TikTok.
That's right. And we're everywhere.
We're everywhere now. And if you look outside your window, we're there too. Okay? All right. Have a good night, everybody.